Let's do it.
Yeah, Mr. Daren, are you okay now? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
saw
ready.
your live at the Deborah Kaki and so the Hackathon Kaki. So I will let Joyce Lee to introduce about the union, also about you. Then after that, we can proceed to the talk. Is it okay?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Good evening, everyone. And thank you for being here to those who are on Zoom and also to our friends on Facebook. We're just really happy to be hosting the first talk in our live webinar series. And it's actually hosted by University Malaysia Software Engineering Student Union. So it started in the year 2018. And usually we have physical events, but due to the COVID-19, we can only do host online events now. But we're very honored that in the first ever online event, we have Mr. Daren Tan here with us today. And we also like to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, M8 Hexa and M8 Academy for sponsoring us this Zoom Pro account. Thank you so much. And before we start, I would just like to give a slight introduction of who Mr. Daren Tan is. So Mr. Daren Tan is a full stack developer and data scientist at Magic. And he's also the founder of Hackathon Kaki and Developer Kaki. So he has been building up the developer community for several years now. And he has also been the mentor and judge in many hackathons, which he has also won many in. So without further ado, I think we should start this session. And Mr. Daren, the time is all yours.
All right, thanks, Joyce. So let me share my screen real quick.
Yep.
Okay, hi. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's have a look. Okay, so welcome everyone. This is my second time giving this talk to students. So hopefully this talk can benefit you guys. So let's get started. So the title of this talk is Tips in the Early Stages of Your Tech Career. So this is our content of the talk. I'll be starting off by sharing with you my background, my story, how things started when I'm at your stage, when I'm a student, just like you. And I will also be sharing on how joining hackathons actually helped me in the early stages of my career, and perhaps you can apply that to yours. And also I'll be sharing on some tips that I learned throughout my journey as a freelance developer that I think you can't find anywhere else in the internet. You need to really face those problems, only you will actually learn from this. So these are some of the content. And also I'll be sharing with you the different career pathways that you can take, and also compare the income and growth that you can aim to achieve by taking each of those paths. And lastly, I'll be ending with some closing remark that will summarize the whole session. Okay. So let's get started. Here's my background. I'm actually a full stack developer and data scientist that's experienced in actually all the fields of tech. I've done projects in web, mobile app, software development, which means a desktop version, data science, AI, machine learning, chatbots, blockchain, UI, UX, you name it. I've done, because basically anything that the client needs, I'll just learn it out and learn along the way. I've attended 14 hackathons, both locally and abroad. The furthest I went was Italy and London for an international hackathon. I'll be sharing that later. I've also won 6 podium finishes and 4 top 10 finishes of all those hackathons I've joined. Before I started joining hackathons, the very first major award that I won was the Merit Award at the 70th MSC Malaysia APICTA IT 2016. And after winning that competition, I was chosen to represent Malaysia to compete in the APICTA International in Taipei, Taiwan, back then they sponsored the flight and hotel. It was it was a nice experience. And I'm also the co-founder of Hackathon Kaki, which is by far the largest Facebook group for hackathon-related news and discussion in Asia. And after that, I also founded a new group called Developer Kaki that focuses on developer-centric discussions, as well as sharing on the latest technologies, curated job postings, career and company sharing. And since the last time I presented this talk, back then I only had 800 members. I think that was back in November. Right now, as of today, there's 1,700 members. So it's grown considerably since then. Okay, so let's get started. Back when I was your time, I was a student. I graduated from Utah Kampa. Not many people know this, that I graduated. Not many people expect that I would have graduated from Utah Kampa, because Utah Kampa is a very Chinese majority university that speaks, the main language they speak there is Mandarin among the students. So yeah, who would have thought that banana like me would have graduated from there? It was not an easy experience. I mean, in terms of fitting in and communicating with the peers. 可是周终于我这个香蕉也可以从拉曼大学毕业出来，所以觉得我也可以做得到。So after that, I've also went to do my master's in information technology in MMU Cyberjaya under a scholarship. And during that time, I actually worked as a part-time freelance software developer and consultant for over 3 years. Some of the clients I worked with are as far as Singapore and even Shanghai. I've traveled a total of 9 countries, and the most I'll be sharing later, one of the amazing feat I've done was to travel 7 countries in the span of a year while doing my master's. And currently, I am actually the senior full stack developer at Malaysian Global Innovation and Creativity Center in Cyberjaya. So, as I mentioned, I've traveled 7 countries, 14 cities in 1 year. How did I do it, right? Or where did I go? So it started in Singapore. I went to Singapore for a Rakuten interview. It was fully sponsored, both the hotel and flight. It was like the 4th or 5th stage of an interview. I can't remember. But yeah, ultimately, unfortunately, I didn't get through the final stage. If not, I would be in Tokyo working in Rakuten right now. And after that, I participated in Vatican Hack. Vatican Hack is an international hackathon that's held at the Vatican City. So this hackathon, right, they only choose 120 students around the world to participate in this hackathon. And I was very happy to be selected because I got to meet a lot of very amazing and intelligent people from different universities such as Oxford, Harvard, MIT, and many different countries from the East, the West, the North, Europe, you name it. And after that, I've gone to Japan from using my freelance, the money I had from freelance. I saved enough to have a trip with my friends to Japan. Then I went to China. Yeah, this is a pretty fascinating one. So this one was because I've posted some articles, some write-up of some mini projects I've done. It was about data scraping on Facebook and performing some analysis and visualizations on it. I posted it on several groups on Facebook, and it managed to catch a lot of attention. And through one of the people that contacted me in my inbox, actually offered me a freelance project where I go over to China, fully sponsored on the housing and as well as flight, to help him build an MVP for the startup. And after that, it was a great 3 months over there. Learned a lot. China, imagine a banana like me in China. It's not easy way. So it was a learning experience for both the technical aspect as well as the cultural aspects of being in China. Next, I also moved, before I came back to Malaysia from China, I just stopped by Hong Kong a while to meet some investors as well as to tour around. And I also been to Korea, which is self-funded, as well as Paris, which is a partially funded trip by Honor Malaysia, where they sent me and my brother to attend the Honor V20 global launch for the phone. So yeah, it's pretty fascinating. So these are some of the pictures from my trip, from Singapore to Rome to Venice, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Beijing, you name it. This is me in Seoul, and this is me in Paris. I was very lucky to be there during the only day it snowed during the whole year. Yeah, it snowed for only one day, and after that, the snow melted the next day. It was quite a breathtaking sight. So I'm also quite proud to share the next one. I didn't share this in public before. Is that at the age of 25, which is last year, just 3 years after graduation, I managed to stop paying rental and own my first property. Okay, I decided to stop paying rent, helping others pay for the property, and managed to get one on my own and pay for the property myself. Okay. So let's rewind. Okay, how did I get to today? Back then, as a student, I know at your point of time in the final year of your degree, you are unsure of everything, you're about to graduate, perhaps you got your first job before graduation, you'll be wondering, what kind of career would I have? And how the hell do you even get to owning a house? Because house is not cheap, right? So in 2016 May, I graduated from my computer science degree. Here's me with my girlfriend at my graduation. I managed to secure several job offers before graduation, which includes Intel actually. I've gone to many interviews, I think a total of about 12 interviews during the career fair held at my uni. I've gotten 5 job offers out of that, including Intel Penang. Intel job offer and chose a fintech company. I had a plot twist here because I chose to resign from that very job that I agreed upon and signed the offer 2 weeks right before I graduated, right before I was supposed to start at that company. So the reason for this is because I got an offer to pursue my postgraduate studies under a TM scholarship. So what happened was I actually applied for this application of this scholarship back in January, early that year, and they rejected me because they wanted someone to fill in the vacancy as soon as possible. It means immediate vacancy. So 5 months later in May, they actually called me again and asked me, "Hey Daren, do you want to join? Do you want to take up this scholarship? It's still available." So then it took me like 2 weeks, a long 2 weeks, where I go and ask my lecturers, I asked my seniors, I've thought long and hard about it. What's the pros and what's the cons of taking up this master's scholarship? So after that, I started the master's research. So resigning from the job was not easy because no one knows how to resign from a job before you start it. So what I did was I Googled for a template of a resignation letter, modified and sent it. That's it. That's how you resign before you start the job. It's a pretty funny story each time I tell it to my friends. So in June 2016, I started my master's research. So what I did in my master's, this scholarship position is actually a research scholar. It's a research scholar position under the TM Big Fuse project, Telecom Malaysia. They gave us a huge stipend of 2,500 ringgit per month, which is pretty high. I think only 5 to 800 ringgit from a fresh grad. And the tuition fees for the masters was fully waived. The title of my research was Domain Data-Driven Rule-Based Data Recipe Engine for Big Data. A very mouthful, but in layman terms, it's a data cleaning engine. It's an engine that takes in dirty data and turns them into clean data using machine learning and NLP techniques. So some publications I've done is to apply NLP techniques and text processing techniques into news reliability evaluation to find fake news and reliable news, as well as one which I've submitted is called the near document deduplication performance comparison using sim hash and bin hash. Hopefully that it will be approved soon. And after studying my master's, I got a call saying that my degree FYP was selected as a finalist for APICTA Malaysia 2016. Here's me after winning the award, after going to PICCOM in Empire Damansara to pitch to the board members, got merit prize. So this was quite memorable because I'm only out of the 10 finalists. It was, I think, 5 APUs, the top IT university in Malaysia, with 4 MMU finalists, and I'm the only one from a small university called Utah. And surprisingly, I got top 3 for this. It's a very proud moment for me. I also got the award from the MDEC of CEO back then, Dato' Yasmin Mahmud. And I even appeared on the Star newspaper. So if you want to see this, you can search my name in the Star online. You can actually find this article itself too. And here's a picture of me at Taipei, Taiwan, representing Malaysia at the APICTA Awards. So over here, I competed with like, I think 25 to 30 other countries worldwide to compete in this category. Unfortunately, I didn't win because other teams were just way stronger than me. So after that, I've actually, since June 2016, after I came to KL, I've joined my first hackathon in June 2016, and surprisingly, since then, I've been winning a lot. So after this, I'll be sharing with you on different projects that I've done for those hackathons, as well as how it helps me in my career. So the first ever hackathon I've joined was the biggest hackathon in Malaysia, Hack 2016. This one was held at the lobby of Berjaya Times Square. There were over 390 participants, and I think close to 90 teams. It was like the Malaysia Book of Records, biggest kind of thing. So for this one, I built, my team and I built a project called FindMate. It is a property to user matching app. So the problem was to solve a lot of unrented properties out there. And normally you have to go through a middleman. Like example, you have one housemate to rent the whole unit, then only re-rent it out. So this gives a gap for them to take advantage of others to recharge the other housemates higher so that they don't need to pay for the rental themselves. So what we did was to propose this app that's something like Tinder. It was mentioned by Welcome Post back in 2016, a Tinder-esque social platform geared towards those looking for potential housemates to share rent with. So what this does is that you search the property that you want. Perhaps it has 3 rooms, 4 rooms, 5 rooms, and then you search the housemates that are also interested in this unit. You swipe left and swipe right if you like or dislike them. And once you have enough matches, we will propose you together to see if you agree to become housemates. And it comes with a property management system where you can pay rental and utilities directly to the owner without going through a middleman. So this project actually got third place in the hackathon itself in the big data analytics category, as well as 4th place in the MDAC National Big App Challenge, and also got top 20 in the Next Academy's The Next Challenge. So in this, my role was ideator, UX designer, coder, presenter. This was what I created up here, the mockups, and then my teammates helped me to beautify them into a proper looking app. And that's how we won it. Next, also, I've joined in the Maybank Hackathon. This is by far the largest cash prize I've won, which is 10,000 ringgit. So this was a data hackathon. The bank provided us, I think, 11 million rows of bank transaction data with the customer's information removed, so that we can actually analyze them and find out ways to help the bank to grow their revenue. So we went through the data and gave them 3 data-backed decisions, data-backed suggestions that can actually help to improve their revenue by achieving their goals here. So for example, we won 2nd place, and my role in this was the ideator and presenter. Next, there was also the Dream Team Challenge by TM's Magic and MMU, I think. So for this one, the project was to detect depression symptoms using several data analytics technique. There's the text sentiment, there is vocal sentiment, facial, heart rate analysis. So I thought of all these, depression is a real problem in the world. A lot of people suicide because of it. So actually technology, if you think about it, there are actually ways to help them using technology. So you can actually use your voice to find out if they're depressed or not. You can use a heart rate to detect if they are depressed or not, as well as the facial expression. Even though it's a normal selfie, even if they try to fake a smile, you can just see symptoms of someone who's depressed. So this project got the TM Special Award. And this is my first ever champion win. This is moving on. We're going to TED Hack to Kuala Lumpur 2007.
Hi there. Is everything all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Damn, this Zoom keeps crashing. All right, we're back. So, okay, TED Hack. For this one, it's held in DG headquarters. There are DG judges, so I chose to do something that has to do with their social media. So on the DG Facebook page, right, they have a lot of comments. Let's say they post a new iPhone plan comes out, 150 ringgit a month installment plan. A lot of people comment there. It's really huge. So there's a lot of noise that makes the data, the comments there unusable. So and then to actually call up the customers and offer them plans, telemarketing is very ineffective, and it incurs a huge cost to the end users. And other than that, right, so to solve this problem, I propose we actually coded, the 5 of us coded a solution where we scrape the comments from those social media posts, and then we identify customers with the purchase intent, which means that they want to buy the phone, perhaps they comment certain keywords or certain phrases. Then we classify them, save their Facebook, find their names or email address in the DG database, and then a chatbot will then PM them to give them personalized offers. So this will ultimately help to reduce costs for telemarketing, as well as to increase sales. This actually will win a human telemarketer by a lot. So in this role, so as you can see, in every hackathon, I'm actually doing different things. Can be web, can be data science, can be many different roles. And for this win, I actually appeared on the Star newspaper again. Oops, something's wrong with my computer. The Zoom on web is crashing.
It's fine. Take your time.
Okay, anyway, let me try again without my external camera. Okay, can you see me? All right, nice. So yeah, this one, okay, so this project is something different. So this is a blockchain project. This project is to help students get their complaints to reach the university management. So what happens normally when a student have a complaint, what they do is that they will go and post on the university compassion pages on Facebook, right? So let's make something similar to that, where they are anonymous and those complaints are transparent, everyone can view it. So we decided to store all of those complaints onto the Ethereum blockchain. And I also developed a web interface for them to have a look, for the admin to, first of all, a web interface for the user to post complaints, and then a smart dashboard for the admins to view those comments which are already classified and sorted according to the complaint and urgency level. So this is done using NLP, sentiment analysis, as well as urgency analysis. So the staff can actually update the status, update the action to each of the feedback and comment that they received. So for this one, I did not manage to get top 3, unfortunately, but I did get top 8 for this. And lastly, the last win I got was OCBC MMU Digiton Challenge. It was a bank. This is a bank problem as well. For this one, I spent a total of 21 hours straight, no sleep, and built the entire thing. So what this project did was to help to improve marketing campaigns once again, but with a different method. So this one was to help to scrape the user's Instagram account and find out in each of the image that they post, right, what they post in it, what kind of objects are in there. So from those objects, I classify them using Google natural language processing to intent and into categories. So example, say someone posts cake, desserts, burgers, you'll all be classified under food. If it's cars, it will be like, you post any cars, any motorcycles, it will be categorized under automotive. This is available in Google API. And then from there, we can generate the customer interest profile as well as the customer's net worth profile. From here, we can actually do very specific targeting to the users. We can have personalized offers to the high value customers, as well as the different offers for the low value customers. So you don't waste time or waste money giving expensive gifts to customers that are too low revenue, too low return of interest. Okay. So yeah, here's a summary of this section. So from what I've shown, hackathons is a great place, I find, to build your profile, to build up your skills, and to network. I've met many prominent people from board members, CEO, chairman, and also many like-minded individuals that you don't know. You might actually work with them someday or even get projects from them. Next, you also get to apply tech skills into solving real-life problems. And also it hones your creative problem-solving skills. So being a tech person, you might only be interested in building things, but sometimes from hackathon, right, you get to learn to build things that matter. You get to dissect the problem into their subcomponents and actually find out what's the best way to solve it and solve it effectively. And lastly, is you get to learn things fast and get noticed. Okay, so now we are moving on to the next section of the talk today, which is how to get started with freelance development. So before I start, let me just share with you how my freelance setup looked like throughout the years. This is how it started in the beginning. Bought my first desktop, then it evolved to this, and it evolved again. And here's the final form. Crazy, right? So yeah, I got all to buy all this because of freelance development. So why did I choose to do freelance development? 2,500 ringgit allowance, not good, man. So yeah, without freelancing, right, I'll just be doing pure research for the next 2 to 3 years. Probably at the end of it, of the 2 to 3 years, I'll be only good at Python, maybe just be a researcher with no practical skills. So that might not be so enticing for the HR or your hiring manager to hire you. However, after doing freelancing, I know I gained a lot of experience. So recently I shared with one of the people that PM me, a young student, to ask me about it. Being a freelancer, you have to take care of everything, not just coding, but also the non-coding side as well. You'll be doing promotion, marketing, funnels and leads, doing the sales, closing the sales, meeting clients, gathering requirements, preparing quotations, invoices. And you go to technical work from the first line of code to the front end, to the back end, to the last line of code. You debug again, test cases, deploy, configure, upload to App Store, testing, maintenance is all you. Only one person doing all this. If you are working in a company, right, perhaps as a back end or front end developer, you'll probably be working on a sub part of back end, maybe just one or few functions there. You won't be able to learn all the other parts. So as a student, right, as a student who just fresh out of degree, what skills did I have? Or what skills most of you might have? Just C, I learned in foundations, C++, Java, standard, everyone has it. Android, Windows Phone is because I learned these two myself for the FYP, for purpose of FYP. So most students would have this, and if you are just like everyone else, not picking up new skills during your free time in uni, you'll have the same skill set as everyone else. So what makes you more hireable than other people, right? So if I did my master's without freelancing, I only gain perhaps an additional Python and data science. And after I've done both masters and freelance development, these are all the stuff I've learned throughout the years. All of these different languages, I've either done a mini project or paid project using them. So yeah, I actually learned a lot, even on the technical side, from doing freelance development. And some of the non-technical skills I learned was Photoshop, Lightroom, CorelDRAW, all these software. Although it's not directly related to your technical work, it comes in very handy during the work because sometimes you do whip up a quick logo, whip up a quick mock-up to show your clients, to make edits. You don't need to depend on other people. You can do it yourself. So now let's move on to the next part, which is what are the best channels you can use to get clients. So I know most of you you Google this, where to get clients for freelancing, you'll probably end up with Upwork, Fiverr, freelancer.com, and all those kind of websites. I've went through them, I've seen it, they charge by per hour, and you compete with many people from other countries as well. So I didn't get any projects from those channels before, but these are the ones where I did get my projects from. I got there's this platform called Beamstart. I'll share it in a bit. So Beamstart, right, is a platform for entrepreneurs for the startup ecosystem, let me show you very quickly. So this is Beamstart. So Beamstart is an app that you can actually find. You need investors, you need designers, developers. Yeah, you can find anyone you need in the startup ecosystem. Let's say CFO, CTO, CEO. You want to form a startup with, you can use this app that has a messaging system and also a filter system that you find those related people. I've gotten like, I think, close to 41 messages while using this. And although most of it are equity-based requests, I've actually gotten a few paid projects from this platform. It's really good. I've met the founder before and thank him personally myself for it. Okay, next is to have a personal website. So while you are a student in university, it's good to practice your HTML, CSS to just simply create a website, personal website, to promote your skill set, to show your portfolio, as well as for people to contact you if they are interested to do projects with you. So let me share with you. This is my personal website I built back in the uni days. Design didn't change much up to today. So it's good to have a list of services you provide. What's your portfolio like how many awards you won, how many projects you've done, how many clients you serve. And here's my portfolio. You can filter by projects. I haven't updated this for a really, really long time. And I think the most important part is client testimonial. So it's good to have clients giving you testimonials, so that other clients that see your profile will actually trust you to give you projects. And if you ask for a price, they won't really reject or underpay you. So a good thing to have is this Drift messaging plugin. When you type message here, you'll show up on my phone anytime. Okay. So let me close this to save RAM in case it's crashing again. Okay, so the last channel, right, to get freelance clients is FB groups. I find FB groups to be a very, very good source of projects. I've seen so many people getting paid projects from Facebook groups. So you can see that the Facebook group I've shortlisted down here is that my personal group, Hackathon Kaki. You can post for all these Facebook group, right? You can just share either you want to hire people or you want to be hired. You can share what services you provide, how many years of experience you have, what kind of projects you do. So you can post in each of these group, and I'm pretty sure someone will message you to inquire for the further stages. So these are the groups I've shortlisted personally myself: Hackathon Kaki, Startup Mama, Entrepreneurship, Entrepreneur and Startup in Malaysia, Malaysian developers, programmers, Awesome and Dapat Ilham, Programming, Laman Web, plus UI UX. So all these are pretty large groups, one of the biggest groups on Facebook community. Okay, so in the freelance journey, right, I'm pretty sure you'll face this request. Hi, I'm looking for a co-founder, but I have no money to pay you. So can I offer you equities instead? Perhaps 5%, 3%, 2% maybe. So you can choose to take the equity. Equity means a share. For those that are not clear what it is, equities are shareholding in a company. So let's say the company gets sold for 100 million. You own 5%, so you get like 5 million, right? Once the company gets acquired. So that's how equity works. However, if the company doesn't get sold, it makes a loss every month. You don't get anything as a developer. And there's also one more situation that can happen, which is if the company makes losses, have debts, you have to split the debts according to equity size as well. I've had one of my friends face that situation before. So for me, I'm very risk adverse. I wouldn't take equity requests anytime soon because there's one saying that's why I put a guardian rate here. It is that equity can't buy me bread. Yeah, that's what I stand by. So some people might disagree with me, but this is what I think. So what do you need to do in order to become a full stack developer? So as you know, full stack developer is front end, back end, database admin, system admin to configure and deploy stuff, as well as a version control system. You have to be familiar with all aspects of technology in order to become a full stack developer. So next I will be sharing a very personal thing, which is during my freelance development, right? What are the worst and best situations I faced. And I'll also elaborate on what can I do better in those situations. So be prepared. So this picture over here represents how I felt in those situations. So here are the top 3 worst situations I faced and perhaps how I could improve. Hopefully that you won't face this problem same as me. So the worst situation I faced was chasing payment for a project for 25 months. Yes, you read that right. It's 2 years and 1 month. Basically, I've chased a client monthly, slowly become every 2 months to every few months. It wasn't a big amount because this was during the very beginning part of my freelancing career. I have no contract in place. Yeah, it was quite bad. I've chased every month. I almost given up on the amount already. So yeah, this is very important to have contract and to have deposit beforehand. But this actually is not like the whole amount. It's like I think 30% of the amount that's still being owed. So yeah, but luckily after 25 months of persistent chasing, I managed to get that remainder amount back. Okay. So the next situation is losing deposit and abandoned project after 24 hours. How did this happen? Okay, so this happened I think 2 or 3 years ago. There was this one friend who introduced me, hey, my company need someone to do this project really urgently. Can you help? Then okay, it's a friend, right? So I helped. I went through, client requirement gathering, drafted out the system architecture. It was a mini site, a gaming mini site for events company for an event that was upcoming. They said it was super, super urgent. Hey, can you do first? And then I asked them for deposit, right? So I asked for the deposit of 30%. And before I started work, they said, oh, cannot, my CEO not around, they're overseas. I think I can get approved for you tomorrow. So I thought, okay lah, since a friend company, I try to help out. So what happened was 24 hours later, after I done a preliminary work, pretty much done already. It's like a mini microsite that has some gaming elements on it using PHP and QR code elements. The client said, oh, the client canceled on me, so the project is abandoned. Then I keep on chasing for deposit, keep on chasing. They were reluctant to give. They were passing the ball around. The project manager passed to CTO, CTO passed to this other fella passed to this other fella. And ultimately, they were trying to soften it by saying, hey, I give you other projects lah. Other projects. I said, no, because other projects, I've already done the work for this project. You have to pay me now before you give me the other projects. So this was the lesson I learned from this incident was no matter friend or whatever situation, no matter how puppy eyes the person give you or how they beg you, don't ever be soft-hearted. It's either you are cruel to the other person or you'll be cruel to yourself. So in this situation, I'm cruel to myself. So yeah, best to have all the black and white ready, all the chops, all the signatures. I mean, a contract. Yeah, please have it ready before doing any job. Get a deposit in your hand first. Okay. So next, the last situation I found was this project was introduced by a friend as well. They wanted me to do a static site for a listed company. So this company was a listed company, on a stock exchange. It's a pretty big company doing, I think I can say it's limestone company. So what happened was I've drafted the mock-up. I went to the office in, can't remember where, for a meeting with the project manager. They liked the mock-up a lot. They said everything's good. Until I give the quotation, they said, oh, it's too high. This other company can do it for 30% of the price. I think, okay, then go to other company. But unfortunately, before then, they also asked me to send the mock-up before the meeting, right? So actually, they took the mock-up and went to the other company to develop. So from this engagement, it was during a very early stage of my freelancing. This was quite painful because they took my mock-up and implemented it. So if you ever give mock-up, if people ask you to give mock-ups, remember to either send it really low res or just don't send it at all. It's really dangerous. Okay, so from the worst situations, let's move to the best situations. There's also good and bad to freelance from the freelance journey that I've been through. So one of the best situations was I got sponsored to go fly overseas for meeting, to fly overseas for 3 months, live abroad in China. That's really fun, and I learned a lot and meet a lot of different people from the startup community in China as well. So I've also been to meetings in Singapore. They sponsored my flight, my stay. So actually freelance, right? not only you can get local clients, if you get international clients, they might actually send you abroad for some meetings or some deployment. Okay. So next, I've also, one of the best situation was to charge 100 ringgit for one line of code. Yes, that one line of code only took me less than 30 seconds to write, and I earned 100 ringgit from that. So that's a good story. Next was also earning 5,000 ringgit in 3 days. So as you know, fresh grads or even 2-year experience, they can earn between 3K to 5K in 1 month. I earned it in 3 days' time for a very simple project. So these are some of the projects that actually, some of the many projects that actually pay on time, deposit paid, you know, everything's on time, no chasing payments, no late payments, very good relationship. So yes, so now moving on to the next part, how to charge for a freelance project. I know many people want to know about this, even from our previous talk. So in a freelance project, there's 2 ways to charge, okay? First of all, I'll show you the types. So freelance project, there's 2 types. One is one-off project, which is like you just deploy it, build, deploy it, hand off, one-off. So you get a one-off lump sum payment. Or you can also work for a remote company or work for the project remotely. I won't call it a remote company, it's more of a contracting job. It's salary-based, it's recurring every month, the income. So how do you determine pricing? So let's do 2 case studies. There's 2 ways to determine pricing. One is the time-based method, which is you find out, okay, example, a fresh grad at 3.5K per month or 3K per month. 1 week, you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 hours times 4 weeks is 160 hours. So you divide that salary per month divided by 160 hours, you get, I think, only a measly 22 ringgit per hour. So as a fresh grad or as a one year experienced developer, you'll probably be working for a company for 22 ringgit per hour. Yeah. So that's because you are an employee. You get a secure job with benefits. You know that the company won't run away, won't pay you on late. So you get paid lower. However, for freelancing, right, because you don't have those perks, you don't have those benefits, don't have medical, EPS also, you don't have, you know, it's a lot of uncertainties there, you are allowed to charge higher. So I think typically one should charge from 50 ringgit to 200 ringgit if you're more experienced. I have seen Malaysian developers, those experienced ones, really, really good with a strong portfolio list of clients that have give recommendations, they can charge 200 ringgit or more. Okay. Next is also, because time-based, right? Sometimes, you know, there's a situation where inexperienced people use longer time to complete certain tasks, to complete the project, while experienced people take a short time to complete the same project. So the inexperienced people will actually incur more cost to the client, while the experienced people, if they charge by hour, right, they will charge less if they follow the hourly basis calculation. So that's not really fair for both the client as well as for the freelancer. So another way to determine pricing is value-based. So how value-based works is that you try to find out the background of the client, the background of the company. How much is it worth, or how much are they worth? And then you charge the perpendicular, the linear price to them, okay? So let me give you an example. For example, a housewife finds you to do a bread-selling e-commerce website. You might want to charge them 3,000 ringgit for that, maybe. You wouldn't want to charge them 30,000 ringgit because they won't be able to pay you. However, if Gardenia finds you, right, if Gardenia finds you to do the exact same e-commerce bread selling website, I don't think you're going to charge 3,000 ringgit, right? You should be charging 30K or 300K or more. So it depends on what kind of, it's a very fine balance you have to find between this to charge by value. You have to find out the client's background, what's their revenue like, how much value would your system bring to them, how much savings would it be, how much revenue it will increase for them. Because let me give an example. Let's say with my e-commerce system, right, e-commerce bread selling system, Gardenia actually improved their revenue by 300% and earn from 100K to 300K. So if you charge perhaps 100K or 30K for it, what does it matter to them, right? Because by investing 30K, they will get 300K return. So you can justify the cost for these companies. Okay, so this is how you charge for freelance projects. Next is I want to talk about the importance of contracts and project scope setting in freelancing. So a common thing everyone ignores in the beginning part of their freelance career is to prepare proper contracts, proper legal contracts, legally binding contracts to protect themselves. So this is to protect both the freelancer and the client. To do this, from what I understand, you do not need a lawyer. Actually, you don't need a lawyer unless it involves like a very, very huge cost. Then perhaps you want to invest in a lawyer to draft the contract for you. However, as a beginner in freelancing, you can just find some template online that you can tweak to your liking to protect yourself. You want to put you want to upfront lay out how much deposit to pay. You want to lay out when the deadlines are, milestone payment, 30% they pay you amount, 60% done they pay you another amount, and yeah. And then what happens if you are late? Then you can also say that you pay penalty, so that reassures the client, right? And if the client pays you late, you can also set a condition in the contract that says that for each day that they are late, you will charge them 10% of the remaining amount they need to pay, 10% interest. So that would perhaps deter them from making the payment late, because it's already said in the contract that they need to pay the penalty. How to make it legally binding is that you take the contract, you print it out, print a few copies, go to the lembaga hasil, get their chop on it. I believe this is how tenant and landlord contract works. They do the contract and then they bring to lembaga hasil, pay some 5 or 10 ringgit or 15 ringgit to get it chopped by the contract, chop the contract to make it legally binding. So once both parties sign, I think this will serve as one layer of protection. However, of course, the client can pay hard to get and they just don't give a shit about the contract. So from there, you might or might not have to sort this out. It will involve a large amount of cost. So yeah, that is one thing to consider as well. So make sure it's not just about you convincing the client to choose you. The client also needs to reassure you that he is trustworthy to work with. Okay. If the contract involves a huge amount, 50K, 100K, or few millions, you would really, really want to get the contract drafted and vetted through by a lawyer so that there's no loopholes for the person to get out of. Okay. However, there's one more way I learned about on my own experience was that you can actually go tribunal. So let's say there's this thing in Malaysia called consumer tribunal that you can claim losses of up to 5,000 ringgit in case a client doesn't pay you. So let's say this client ghosted you, doesn't reply a message, doesn't pick up a call, have amount sending. You usually get all the evidence, compile, make a report to the consumer tribunals, and I think they can cover up to a certain amount of money. They can reimburse you the amount. You have to go find out about this. It's called the Consumer Tribunal of Malaysia. Okay. So yeah, this is what I mentioned. Scope of deliverable, be as specific as possible as you can. So because it will save your ass in the future in case the client keeps on adding features so that you can charge them based on each of the additional changes. Project fees, milestone, deadlines. Yes, as I mentioned previously. Yeah, so that's all the elements you need in the contract. Next, career pathway income growth comparison. So for this one, I've actually done a survey with my peers that graduated together with me 3 years ago. Typically, if you work in the same company, like Mr. A over here, for the past 3 years, you earn 10%, 15% increment per year. So another friend of mine, Mr. B, he earned 10, 20%. So these are real data I collected from my friends. I called them up and asked them about it. They were very willing to share the percentage amount, how much increment they get from the companies. So this is pretty good. So this friend of mine, he worked in the same company for 2 years, 10%, 10%. And on the third year, right, he actually jumped company and got a 20% increment. So imagine that if you stay in the same company, you get 10%, 10%, but if you jump, you get 20%. You get 2 years worth of increment in a single jump. Okay. So this fourth friend of mine, he worked for 3 companies. So you can see here, C1, C2, and C3. First company jumped, the second company got 22.23% increment, and the third company got 162% increment. Very crazy, right? This is because the local company jumped 22% is a very good amount already. However, from company 2 to company 3, he jumped from Malaysia to Singapore. That's why you get such a big jump here. So yeah, working overseas helps you. So right now I changed to a different slide. Okay. I gave a talk last week that shows the different pathways you can actually take as a fresh grad to enhance your prospects, your growth basically. So let me change slide to this one. So as a fresh grad, right? What kind of options you have? You can choose to work overseas for overseas SME in Singapore, Europe, or US. It is low risk. It is high pay because of the currency exchange, but it is high effort because initially you need to relocate there first. Okay. Next is you work for a local MNC, a big steady company. Like example, Accenture, Petronas, TM, Axis, Shell. All these are very, very steady companies, low risk, pretty high pay, if I could say that. Accenture, if I'm not mistaken, for fresh grad, right? No matter what industry you are, what degree you graduated from, is 4.1K. Okay, so take note of this company. Next, also we have SME companies, which are smaller than MNC. For example, maybe local dev houses. They are low risk and average pay. Okay. Next, also we have the startup companies, which are even smaller than SME companies. So I classify them as average to high risk because they might face cash flow problem. They might gulung tikar. They might just close down. For this one, you might oops, sorry, did I broke up again?
Yep, it's fine.
Okay, I'm back. I must either not use Zoom or use Zoom desktop version. I refuse to install Zoom in my computer. Okay, so let's go back to here, the slides. Okay, other than startups, right, you can also take freelance project after you graduate. You can hone your skills. You can learn a lot of things, as I mentioned previously. For this road, you might get above average pay if you do it well, but there's a risk there. It's an average to high risk path. Next, other than freelance, you can take it one step further to open a dev house business. This path I would categorize as high risk because you have to handle everything yourself. Let's say the economy downturn like right now, businesses get affected, businesses close down. You might have staff salary to pay. So when the times are good, it's good. When the times are bad, you have to find ways to make it good. So high risk, high responsibility. For this one, it's a really, really high pay. And that's why it's a high learning to run your own business. And lastly, there's a seventh path, which not many people think in Malaysia, which is working for remote companies abroad. So for this one, you work in Malaysia, low cost of living, low risk because it is a company. It's not a startup. It's a company with a proper cash flow and a proper size. And the pay is really, really high because it is overseas company, let's say Singapore, US, or Europe. You get 3x, 5x, and 4x exchange rate back to Malaysia. So it's a very high pay path for this one. So next, I want to compare to you, to show you the comparison of for each of these paths that you choose, right? What kind of income you can hope to achieve? Let me show you. So for example, you start from fresh grad, work experience 0, single room, living cost, okay? So working in the US, working in Singapore, working in Malaysia with a local job, as well as in Malaysia with a remote job, right? I've done the study. I called my friends again from the US and from Singapore to ask them on the living cost, on the salary, on the tax rate that the government charged them in each of those countries, and come up with the calculation on how much net salary that they can hope to earn. So there's a correction here from my last presentation. Let me correct it real quick. 57%, yes. Okay. So right, working in the US, the typical fresh grad with 0 experience, you will get to earn 10,000 USD, a lot, right? But the tax there is really, really high. It's 25%. So that would minus the living cost and the tax, right? You will actually only earn 52% of your net income. And if you convert that remaining savings into MYR, you actually get 22K per month. Next is Singapore. In Singapore, a typical fresh grad from uni gets 4K. They have a progressive tax like Malaysia. I've calculated the tax calculation and it comes out to be better than US. You actually get to retain 70% of your net salary. And if you convert to Malaysia ringgit, you get 8.6K per month savings. In Malaysia, you will start with 3.5K ringgit, and minus the cost and tax, you actually get around 1.8K per month savings. And the net salary percentage you will get is 57%, not that far away from the US in terms of percentage, and everyone will be saving around 1,008. Put 1,000 ringgit for living costs because I think in consideration of public transportation, petrol costs, parking costs, toll costs, in addition to eating out. Okay. Next is also the remote path, working a remote US job in Malaysia. I saw the worst pay you can get is 40,000 USD. For them to hire a local talent, it takes around 90 to 100K USD per year. But if they hire a remote talent in a third world country, I would say, it's around 40K or 50K per year. So they just get to save 50%. While us being from Malaysia, with the horrible currency, we actually get to earn 300% more than we would locally. Okay. So with, let's say, convert to Malaysia ringgit, 16K ringgit per month, you pay tax. Tax is quite high. Once you reach this level, you will have to pay around 3K of tax per month. Ouch. And the net salary that you'll be saving is around 72% because of Malaysia living cost is quite low. Okay, so the net salary you'll be saving per month is 11K. So I've done a for fun estimate. As a student, or perhaps as a fresh grad or new in the, I mean, ultimately all of us want to achieve some sort of financial goal or financial stability, right? I mean, who doesn't want to be a millionaire? So I've done a for fun simulation based on those gross saving, the gross savings of working each of this path. By what age will you be when you have 1 million ringgit in your savings? So the assumption I have here is that you get minimum at least 10% increment per year. Your living cost stays the same every year, as well as no inflation, which unfortunately is not a real scenario. So having these assumptions in mind, run the simulation, accumulating each month's savings, each year's savings, actually found out these several findings. First of all, if you work in the US, and then at age 30, you come into Malaysia, convert all your US savings to Malaysia ringgit, you can actually get 1 million ringgit, become a millionaire at 30 years old. If you work a remote job while being in Malaysia, you can become a millionaire at 37 years old. Okay, not that far, 7 years more. If you work in Singapore, like most people would do, fresh grads, I know Singapore is very enticing, just across the bridge, you get 3 times the amount. You will only become a millionaire at 47 years old. And the saddest case is for Malaysia. So assuming that every single year until 50 something, you get 10% increment per year, it's not 52. After correcting the calculations, actually is 56 years old. You only can become a millionaire if you work until you're 56 years old and save really, really hard with the living expenses. So yeah, by choosing different path, you actually reach that milestone using different amount of time. Okay, so that's it for this part. So there's a pathway comparison. So what I found, right, I observed is that for the salary pathway, I find the entire job system is just very broken. Because you see, I've shown you examples of real life data that the job system discourages loyalty. They discourages you to stay with the same company because it only gives you 10% if you're lucky, less than 10% if you're not lucky per year if you stay at the same company. That's why most fresh grads or most people now jump company every 1-2 years. And it discourages loyalty because if you jump company, you actually, if you're a very talented person, you actually can get 20 or more % increment if you jump company. So yeah, this is one thing to take into consideration. So lastly, we have reached the end of the talk, which is closing remarks. So I'll end the talk with a quote. Okay, the quote I like most is "the road less traveled by." So what this means is that, let's say your peers can be as a student, your classmates, all of them want to work. All of them have maybe, ask you for gaming, ask you for yamcha, just go there. Everyone want to become a developer, you just go there, just study computer science. So I feel that's not the right way to do to actually do well in your career. You need to find out to be different from others, either technically, verbally, or your soft skills. And yeah, perhaps by going for the road less traveled by, you actually leave a new trail that inspires others to travel this road as well. So let me end this talk with an analogy. So from my previous talk, I took this analogy from my previous talk. Life is like a game, an RPG. You all know this character, right? So in an RPG, right, you have different you have different classes. You can be a mage, you can be a knight, you can be a paladin, a healer, archer. In your real life, you can choose it's like your occupation. You can be a doctor, you can be a pilot, you can be a lawyer, you can be a developer. And in the game, you have quests. You might want to, the quests could be like hunting goblins, slaying dragons, clearing dungeons, performing errands, right? And jobs in life is just like quests. Perform surgery, you can fly a plane, you can defend someone in court, you can write programs for a living. Okay. However, each of these quests, right? Each of these quests takes a different amount of time to do. And each of these quests also worth a different amount. So some people can be earning 300 ringgit per hour. Some people could be just earning 22 ringgit per hour. So it's just like quests. Some quests takes more time to finish, but lesser amount of reward. Some quests have higher reward but shorter time, but perhaps the difficulty is higher. Okay. And in this game called life, or perhaps in this game specifically, you have only 300 hours. Remember, we have limited time to play this game called life. For example, 300 hours you have in this game could be equivalent to 30 years in your real working career, until your retirement age, until you can't work anymore. Okay, so what path or what quest should you do? What can you do to level up the fastest to achieve your either financial, career, or personal goals? Okay, so to do this is by choosing the right quest. From this guy with very minimal armor, right? You can actually be a full-fledged swordsman, level 100 swordsman. So how do you reach this level is by choosing the right quest to take. So some people might be choosing the most mainstream quest up there, the most low difficulty quest up there. You might want to choose the harder quest, higher difficulty, and lets you earn higher amount with shorter time. And yeah, as I mentioned, some quests take shorter time, higher rewards. Some quests take longer time, but shorter, lesser rewards. So the quest, however, right, to take quests, those certain quests, it depends on the skills that you have. Some of the quests might need you to possess certain level of skills in this healing skills, fire skills, ice skills, and so on. So in real life, to actually take up certain jobs or certain projects, you need to have a portfolio. You need to have skills, proven portfolio, and experience. Learn up the right skills. You can learn photo editing. You can learn copywriting. You can learn programming. You can learn, just equip yourself with as much skills as you can. So during this MCO period, as a student, take out time each day to learn up a new skill or polish your existing skills so that you can finish your quest faster. You can take on harder quests and reach your desired level faster. Okay, because remember, life, actually, everyone has the same amount of time. It's up to you to make the most out of it. Okay, so that's all for my talk today. I'll go on for Q&A.
Hi, Daren. Can you see me?
Hi, Young. Yep, I can.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so really thanks, Mr. Daren Tan, for the speech just now. So now, what about let's proceed to the Q&A session?
Sure.
Yeah. So for Zoom members, you can just write what a question on the Zoom group chat. And those who are in Facebook, you can just make a comment there, and we will look at the question. We will pick some question, and we will ask Mr. Daren Tan about it. Yeah. So any question, just drop by the Zoom group chat or in your Facebook. And also something happy to say that today we have reached around 200 audience throughout.
Seriously?
Yeah. So we have around 50 participants in the Zoom, and the highest we reach is 120 at our page live, and also about 40 at the developer Kaki, and also about 10 or 20 at the Hackathon Kaki. So we approximately reached 200 viewers tonight. So it's very happy to say that this is our first ever webinar. And we're really happy that we could get these results, and we'll try harder next time. And sorry for the inconvenient cause today. And so, okay, just any question you can ask, and we'll ask Mr. Daren Tan. Okay, so one question here is that usually how did you get, Mr. Daren? Yeah, so usually how did you get this creative idea from your mind? Example, in hackathons, in ideathons, anything. So usually how did you like brainstorm idea and get some ideas from your mind? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So normally, right, to get ideas for hackathon, I would love, before the hackathon, I would read up a lot on a day-to-day basis. When there's no hackathon, I would read up a lot of different technology articles. I would go to websites like Hackanoon, Dev2, just join a lot of Facebook groups to get the latest articles, both in Malaysia, the Malaysia tech scene, as well as abroad in US, Europe tech scene. So it's good to read up a lot of different articles to learn up the latest technology, so that you have a rough idea, right? What can take off and what cannot take off. So perhaps back in 2013, 14, the hot thing was cloud computing. And after that, it moved on to, I cannot recall what it moved on to, but in 2018, 2017, the hot thing was blockchain. And before that was, or right now, is AI and machine learning. So it's good for you to know in each of these topics, each of these phases, what are the hot things inside that you can learn to master and as well to sell.
Yeah, I think that really answered this question. So I got another question here is that, because you say that you quit a job before you actually start working, and you start studying your master. You start studying your master. There's one question here is that, do you think that studying master contribute to your career, and compare it to directly looking for a career after graduation of degree? So what did you think about that?
Okay. Let's see here. Masters does have its perks. Example, masters. Okay, let me tell you an example. Okay, so for masters, with masters, you actually the traditional thinking is that you get to enter different line of job. Example, to become a researcher, R&D scientist, or R&D engineer in certain companies, you must have a master's. It's preferable that you have a master's or PhD. Other than that, right, it also opens up you to management posts. I know certain companies imposes this rule that project managers or the higher level jobs require you to earn a master's first before you can apply for it. So having a master's does help in that. Other than that, for master's, postgraduate studies, what you learn in comparison, what you gain in comparison with a degree student is that you learn how to design experiments, how to verify hypotheses, how to break things down, and how to formulate to write the reports.
Yeah, okay. Hey, I think Daren Tan, Mr. Daren.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's wait him to back for a while. Yeah, he's back.
So
okay.
I'm sorry. I have questions here from Facebook, and I also see a question here on Zoom that I think can be combined together. So Jay from Developer Kaki would like to know, how do you learn your skills? Is it through online courses, YouTube, free ebooks, and which is the most effective for a developer to build solid skills in the fastest time? And Syed from Zoom would also like to know, what's the fastest way to develop your skills when you're starting out programming and developing?
So the fastest way to learn, I feel, is by doing. So actually, by reading articles or reading tutorials, right, it's not enough. You need to actually either mini projects by doing for fun projects, personal projects on your free time, or you do it for paid projects. So how I learn, unfortunately, it's not the good way, is that you say yes first to the things you don't know. The client say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you just say yes first. Then after that, you learn while doing it. Because it's a paid project, you have responsibility, you have your reputation at stake. You would learn it. Die also you learn it. Right? Okay. So that's how I learn it.
And Lucas from Developer Kaki would like to know if side projects or hackathons are more effective and help you more in your early stages of the career.
Right. I would say both is equally as important, because in hackathons, there's three things, as I mentioned. You get to hone your skills to apply it in a very short amount of time to solve real world problems, as well as you get to network and also gain reputation. You get to gain reputation, so you post on your social media, LinkedIn, etc. You actually get to build a portfolio, build a resume, and from the events also you get to know people, get to know your the other participants who could be founders of companies, who could be like-minded people as yourself, who want to work together with you on projects together. Yeah, that's a good part of hackathons. For side projects, it is very important for two things. One is to convince clients that you have the capability to deliver this type of project. Let's say it's a data science, data scraping project. If the client have a choice to choose between two candidates, one has done many projects or even one project on this before, while another one doesn't have experience, they will first choose the one with a project to refer to. And last one is side projects also, yeah, it helps you learn a lot from a more complete solution because you get to learn from front end, back end, database to deployment. Hackathons, you don't really learn all that in 24 hours.
Yeah, so I have a question here. So that you want to ask about does the syllabus in computer science degree or software engineering degree really enough or prepare us for the career in tech industry?
Oh, is it really enough? Definitely not enough. Definitely not enough. See, I also know some of you laughing already. So yes, it is not enough because in our, how do I say this? From my observation, right? University degrees universities were created 100 to 200 years ago. This system is an obsolete system that has been practiced since 100 to 100 years ago. People go through primary education, secondary education, university, get a degree, only can get a job. Unfortunately, right now in the time that we live in, with the advent of internet, remote working, and all these different things, is moving away from that. So even in MCO right now, as you can see, everyone is not attending university. And some people even face hardship and they have to drop out of universities. So I think what would really matter for a career in tech, right, is actually to learn to apply. Learn, for example, I give you a very nice resource. It is called freecodecamp.com. It teaches you all the different aspects of tech. I think they have a very complete course on HTML, on CSS, JavaScript, React, database, Git, data science courses, Python. They have all sorts of different areas of data science, of tech, and the courses are very, very easy to learn. It comes with a very nice interface to learn, and it is very, very complete. It is something I wish I knew before I joined computer science degree, because I would have just went for that free code camp and gotten a job. Because in free code camp, you do get a cert at the end, and employers, I'm not sure about Malaysia okay, but employers overseas, they do acknowledge that certificate. You will see the graduate testimonial underneath. And the best thing about free code camp, as the name implies, is that it is 100% free. So,
yeah. So is it okay that we have select about 2 to 3 questions?
No worries. I'm going to select 10 more also can.
Okay, so there's one more here that which one is more important for a fresh graduate? So or student or fresh graduate is like number one, choice number one, like try to touch and learn little of various things, or just familiarize and focus on 1 or 2 things, because we have a lot of like technology aspect, technology. Yeah. So you want to say that you know lot of things but not very in depth, or just focus on 1 or 2 but very in depth? Yeah. So which one do you think is better? Yeah.
All right. So this goes to the saying to be a jack of all trades or master of none, or to be master of one and not a jack of all trades. So let's see here. So example, on the job market, there's a 100 job listing, right? Each of it might require a different skill set, and each of these job posting might have a different value attached to them, a different salary. Because different company, although for the same amount of job scope, same job title, same experience, they might pay differently. So I would say that to learn what's needed. So if you want to apply for this job that needs React skills, I don't know, Kubernetes, Docker, and so on, you want to learn up those technology and learn it really, really well. Even if you don't have experience working in working environment using those technologies in working environment, at least you should have is projects that you've done. You can show to the HR or hiring manager that you do know how to build, how to deploy this, to configure it, so that you can prove that you're worth hiring. So the summary is to learn what's needed. As a fresh grad, learn as much as you can, touch base on each of it, so that when you need to learn that specific skill, it's easier for you to pick up.
Yeah. So I saw another question here. That do you have an idea? Like, example, you want to do a freelancing path. How do you know that you are ready? You are good enough. Yeah.
How to know you're good enough? You see the client's requirement, and then you think whether can you do it or not. If you can do it, then you're ready. Because example, okay, I'll give you another example. Let's say someone posts a job offer of 2,000 ringgit for you to repair his broken pipe in the sink. So when are you ready? It's when you actually have the knowledge on how to repair the pipe, right? So it's the same principle. You just apply it to freelancing. It's like when you have even if you don't have experience, at least you have the demonstrated applied knowledge of doing that specific project that's specific to that, what the client needs.
Yeah. So, Joyce, do you have any question there? There one more question here, like skill-wise, like example, knowing what do now. Do you have any recommendation for people starting from zero? Maybe it's a newbie or what? Any recommendation of tech you can learn? For me, I think I recommend web tech. So what do you recommend?
What do I recommend to learn? Okay, if you're starting from zero, I would recommend to learn Python, because Python got many benefits. Python, first of all, is a high-level language, so it's quite close to English compared to the other languages. Other than that, Python is very flexible. You can be doing data science projects, you can be doing IoT projects, you can be doing web projects, Python Django, Python Flask. And there's a huge collection of data science library. You can do image recognition, AI, machine learning, all sorts of things with Python. So I would suggest to learn Python first.
Yeah. Joyce, do you have any question there? Joyce? Oh, okay.
We'll wait a while. There's a lot of comments, actually, I see.
There's lots of comments, so it really takes some time to find some. Do you want to answer any question you saw? Here?
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, Joyce.
Yeah, I can.
So I see a very interesting question here. Do you need to build a real machine learning model to win a hackathon, or is it just an if-else prototype?
Okay. So this is very easy to answer. So for hackathon, right, it depends on the hackathon itself. So it depends if the hackathon is a technical hackathon, or is it just want to see an idea, just want to see a beautiful pitch deck with a beautiful outcome, a nice if-else video, or does the hackathon want to see your code, want to see your model, how good the accuracy, the precision, the recall is. So I've been to a lot of hackathons, and some of it depends on the panel of judges. If they are like business or more business people on the panel, they will not really care about technical working on it. But if the judging panel has data scientists, has have people in the industry, right, in the industry, they will definitely ask you on how the model works. So yeah, you might want to build a real machine learning model for that.
Yeah. So I got one question here, is that do you think the hackathon is suitable for everyone to try, or what? What about you?
Oh, most definitely. So in my first hackathon, right, even myself, I joined because I was curious. I know being my university is in Kampar, it's very far from KL, where all the hackathons are. I never even heard of hackathon before until like 1 week before joining the hackathon. I was like, hey, ask my seniors who joined a lot of hackathons. I said, hey, can I join you? And go and took a train to KL to join my first hackathon. And from there onwards, joining each of it, I learn different things. I meet different people. I get from a very stage-shy person, I get to go out on stage to pitch and improve from there. Again, my self-esteem from there too. So yeah, definitely recommend people to join hackathons as you learn both technical and also non-technical skills from there.
Yeah. So Joyce, do you have any question there?
No, but I do
No?
see a question on over here. I think he's asking about whether it's feasible to work on IoT now.
Oh, okay.
Comment?
I do not only mean the system side, hardware side works, microcontrollers, IoT hardware. Okay. So the question is the viewer asked, is it worth to invest time and work on IoT projects right now? Of course, definitely, man. Because right now the next upcoming trend I foresee is 5G. So in Malaysia, TM, Maxis, Digis, Celcom, all these major telcos, as well as Europe, and especially in China, China's 5G, China and South Korea's 5G penetration is at an all-time high. They are the highest in the world. So what 5G has in 5G's advantage in comparison with 4G is that it allows download bandwidth of up to 1,000 gigabytes. So imagine your phone's maximum with 4G, right, your phone's maximum input is download throughput is 100 meg or 300 meg. 5G takes that and 10x, 3 to 10x that amount of download bandwidth. And also it lowers the latency up to a very, very low latency. So you can actually control, example right now, let's say I'm in Malaysia, I can control a tractor or a car in South Korea, and there wouldn't be any noticeable latency. So wait, hold on. So for 5G, since 5G is an upcoming thing, right? It will to utilize 5G, IoT will be needed a lot, like really a lot. There might be you might want sensors in the lamppost, on the lamppost in the street, sensors for crops in the farm. You might want sensors for trees in the forest to find out how well the tree is growing. Does it need any help? Is it sick? Is the forest is there any signs of forest fire coming along? So yeah, IoT is very valuable when 5G comes along.
Yeah. So maybe one last
Sure.
question. Yeah.
Oh wait, let me answer one extra question before you ask your question.
Sure.
So I think in the comment section for both Durable Kaki and as well as in Zoom, people want to know what is my major source of income to own my first property.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so the major income was actually I got the property before I entered Magic, which is before I entered my first proper office job in Malaysia. So my source of income came from freelancing actually. As I mentioned, freelancing for clients overseas is quite a good source of income. So you might not look into that.
Oh, I think there's an interesting question here. Does not having a relevant degree affect job searching in tech market? He's a maths major, by the way, which is we have a maths major in Xiamen University, Malaysia. So is it good a resume to persuade potential client or employer if he's not in computer science degree?
Okay. Good question. Definitely a very good question. I get this question a lot actually. So, do you need relevant degree? I have friends that graduated in. Okay, let me give you two examples. Actually, I can give you 3 examples even. Friend number 1 graduated in quantity survey, if I'm not mistaken. He did a few years of it, doesn't like it. He self-learned coding skills and then applied for a German company in Cyberjaya. And within 2 years of working there, right, he earned 9K salary per month, which is super bloody impressive. When I first heard about it from him, I got super inspired by him. I met him in the gym, and then we both exchanged contact, exchanged experience. Then somehow I learned from him that he told me that he got a salary of 9K per month after 2 years of entering the tech career while being a non-tech graduate. So that's example number 1. Number 2, I have a friend who a junior. He graduated as I don't know, business or law. It's not tech. He messaged me to ask me tips. Hey, how to get into data science? What courses can I attend? Blah, blah, blah. And 2 or 3 years later, right now, recently I just got in contact with him. He shared with me that he actually got work in tech, two companies already. First company was paying 3.5K as a data analyst, and the second company was paying 6K. Yeah, 40% jump in 2 years. Bloody insane. So he is not a tech, he's not computer science, not software engineer, he's a business or law graduate, I can't remember. So career path change is valid. And the third friend is, he has worked in the industry for 10 years, in the technology consultant line, 10 years, and he graduated as a chemical engineer. Yeah, and as a 10 years in consulting line is huge bucks to earn there as well. So actually having a relevant degree doesn't really matter in the tech market. Hope that answers your question.
I think that is a good question. And also, just for an advertisement to Xiamen student, in Xiamen University, we are forming a tech club in this coming semester. In this semester, around May, you will be approved. After the MCO, you'll be approved. So if you are really interested in learning tech stuff, even you're not in software engineering major or computer science major, you can actually join the club. And I'll be the president of the club too. So yeah, you can please join there. You can, if you're interested, when the club is up, we will like you to join it. Yeah. And also, I think that's all the question. We asked quite a lot of questions here. So, let's go to the next. So, really thanks to Mr. Daren today. So, what I think I really learned a lot. We really learned a lot through this sharing session. What I think is memorable in this presentation is like the worst and best experience in freelancing, like people zao law, and being like people take your like
yes.
Yeah, and also like the best. Also, you can see that one line you earn one line of code you earn a few hundred ringgit is really insane. Yeah, and also like also jumping companies, actually you may earn more. This really like it's different from what we think usually, like staying in one company for a lot of years and you can go higher and higher. But it may be different from what we think it is. So, and also lastly, like the analogy behind and the last few slides, I really like that. So it's like choose the right skill and right thing, and you may be the special one, the special guy, and you'll be the successful one. Yeah. So really thanks, Mr. Daren Tan. And so from the slide here, can you view the slides? Yeah. So you may join these two groups, which I also recommended, and also one of the member of it, Developer Kaki and Hackathon Kaki, no matter from China or what. Yeah, China, you can use VPN. Yeah. We have a lot of China students here today. So you may join these two groups, which are Mr. Daren Tan usually always share some information, some tech stuff, some news, insight, some sharing sessions, which are very interesting. And you can actually learn a lot there, which are very informative, and I personally really like it. Yeah. And so I really know about tech after I joining these two groups. It's really, yeah. Before that, I just a normal student in the university. And since then, yeah, I really like go into the tech and join the student union, and also forming a new club now. Really thanks, Mr. Daren Tan. Yeah.
Wow, glad to hear that.
Yeah. So I think that's about the all. Before that, we'll send everyone at every comment section. There will be a form, Microsoft form, because in China we cannot use Google form. So
oops.
Yeah. So
I remember those days.
Yeah. So here are some Microsoft form. So you may fill in this form and give us a suggestion on the next topic you would like to listen about through live and all kind of through live events, or maybe physical event if the pandemic is over. But we'll probably have one more talk on next week if it's possible. Since the reaction today is very good, we have nearly 200 in total of views today. It's very thankful.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Really
wait,
really
one more thing. I want to share my screen a while.
Yeah, sure. Okay, share.
So yeah, if anyone wants to want to keep in touch, here you can find me at Facebook, find me on Instagram, you can find me in LinkedIn or my website. Feel free to PM me anytime if you have any other questions.
Yeah, so you can share it back.
Okay, stop sharing.
I will share back the slides there. So, so guys, I really wish you all can fill in the form so you can get your feedback, not only from universities, Xiamen University student, and also from the public, so that we can have more, public talks, public webinars like that, which benefit everyone, not just a university student in Xiamen University Malaysia. And also do like our Facebook page and also M8 Academy, which is our sponsor of this Zoom. Yeah. And so after MCO come the Empire Hexa, you can use the flexibility for your talks. Yeah. Empire Hexa actually is near, it's near Xiamen University, and there are a lot of facilities. You can have like VR games and also snorkels, and also there are a place for people to you can organize workshop, and you can actually follow their Facebook Empire Academy, MA Academy, and M8 Hexa. Yeah. So really thank everyone for thank the sponsor too, and also we really like to, if next time when the COVID-19 pandemic is over, we really like to invite Mr. Daren Tan to come to Xiamen University. Yeah, we'd like to.
Oh, sure.
Let you come to a visit. There will be a short talk or what. Yeah, and so we have next time when you come, we can actually prepare some prizes for you, because since the pandemic,
Wow.
I think we will find a way. Maybe we can ship it to you, and we are coming out with our
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Yeah, student event T-shirt. So probably we can maybe we can ship one to Mr. Daren Tan, but it may be after the MCO, since all the
No worries, no worries.
Yeah. So really thank you, Mr. Daren Tan, and this is our first online streaming webinar. Thank everyone for supporting, no matter from the Facebook, XMUN Software Engineering Student Union, our Zoom Live from Developer Kaki, and also Hackathon Kaki. Thanks for everyone. Wish you all have a good day, have a good night, and learn a lot of things from Mr. Daren Tan. And we are excited to have our next webinar soon. And you can like our page. We will update everything there. So stay safe, everyone. Any last word, Mr. Daren Tan?
Nope. Stay safe during the MCO. Stay home. Bye.
Yeah, stay home.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Also, sorry for the technical problem at the start. And so, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay,
Bye.
Goodbye. So fill in the form, yeah, guys. So you can know you can get your responses here. We will stay here until there's around left about 10 of you. So I think we will end the Facebook Live here. So really thank everyone, especially Xiamen University student. We are coming up with a new club, XMUM Tech Club, which we may be approved after the MCO period. Yeah, so everyone, you can leave now. Really stay safe, and we wish for